Welcome to the first best of 5 of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Odyssey, spawning to the top left-hand corner in yellow. Playing for EESC and Spain as Zerk, it's Sitaska. And to the bottom right in green, playing Zerk for 1F Academy, it's Wryza. Going for a quick extractor into spawning pool, meaning a heavy cheesy build to start things off with, while Sitaska is still on only hatch. Might even actually want to go hatch first on this map. And here we have the drone already moving out, so this could actually be kind of a quick win for Wryza. If her opponent does not realize what's going on, she might not have the necessary defenses ready in order to hold this quick push by her opponent. So let's see how this is going to work out eventually. It's by no means a hard build order win. Of course, Wryza will be having the advantage with the early pool and the possible earlier... Okay, she went for a queen first, so that of course delays her own... speed a little bit, by just a little bit. I mean, now the spawning pool is halfway done for Sitaska, so she will be quite far away from speed when the speed of Wryza hits. Also preparing a baneling nest for the full-out assault, is already sending her links, albeit not sending them around the typical Overlord pattern. So all the Overlords will now know what's going on. Sitaska, for sure, having an eye on the minimap, since there's not much else to do at this early in the game, or at that early stage in the game. So, first links arrive, no queen here, the first few links in the making. Wryza will be able to nibble away at the hit points of this hatchery here. Will she be able to take it down though? Baneling nest is almost done, so she will be able to actually morph some banelings. Actually retreats a little bit here, don't really know why. Could have dealt way more damage in the meantime, so I think the retreating here was not really the best thing she could have done. Now finally the remaining links arrive, and the links of Sitaska are out as well. Wryza should actually get a few banelings a little bit outside of vision range of that Overlord here, but the Overlord granting her enough vision so far. She's planted down her own hatchery behind it. Might actually not even commit to more pressure here. Don't know if that's a wise idea though. I mean, of course it's not that bad that her own hatchery is a little bit behind, as long as she keeps Sitaska from saturating this one. It does not mean as much. Of course she has right now the advantage in lava, so she will be able to produce more units with the lava remaining, but of course she does not really have the income advantage as long as this base doesn't get saturated. But of course Wryza still committed to a lot of damage here, now moves in. Banelings are also done for Sitaska here. Most banelings explode into the opponent's banelings, so still fairly even here. Ugh, this baneling exploding, not even getting Sitaska's one here. Sitaska now being able to just reproduce her banes, while it's a fairly small army for Wryza right now. She would really need some excellent hits in order to turn this game around at that stage. Let's see if she will be able to do so. Sitaska just trying to chase away these Zerglings with the banelings over here, now moving in with more Zerglings. Okay, again, banelings hitting into banelings. Sitaska just barely saves her links over here. Wryza unfortunately misses the best opportunity in order to take out the links. Just rallies her own links, or explodes her own links into the morphing cocoons of the banelings, which unfortunately do not go down, thus even not making them having any worth at that point in time. So still pretty fully committed here, just throwing down more and more links into the production line. Don't really know if she can actually... I mean, sometimes you can still surprise your opponent, who might at that point in time not expect you to be still attacking, since there's also no Overlord over here in order to scout what's going on. Yeah, Wryza just went into the main base, saw the Roach Warren, so might actually now retreat, try to saturate up her own base, waiting for the push to come while throwing down a Roach Warren of her own. Don't actually know if she would have really had to move back completely. Is of course morphing in a few safety banelings just in case her opponent was trying to do such a thing. And trying to get inside the base with some links, doing a counter push here, now also sending the banelings across the map. If, of course, Sitaska actually manages to take out all of the standing forces of Wryza, at that point in time, she will probably have a big advantage once her own roach push hits the field. So there's the banelings. Let's see how everything works out. Sitaska is already spreading them up, trying to get a good engagement here. Also, getting a lot of banes worth out of it, but the remaining banes of Wryza actually managed to kill off all of the banes that Sitaska had. Does not really actually have to take out that one small baneling, because one baneling on itself cannot kill a worker. So there are the remaining roaches. It's 3 roaches to 0 forces. Don't really know if these 3 roaches will be able to do that much. I mean, of course they can take that queen out if Wryza is not careful here, and she is not. So the banelings are, the queen is down, now the links finally get in. Should actually get kind of a good surround here, and even if they don't, it does not really matter. 3 roaches do not really pose a considerable threat. And Sitaska retreats with the last remaining 4 roaches here. Might actually just wait a little bit more, since Wryza does not really have a vision of that area. Now she has, just accidentally sees what Sitaska is actually up to. Now retreats with all of the links, getting some of them killed while move commanding. So now the roaches are in, and these are a lot more roaches this time around. So I actually can't see Wryza holding this with pure links on her own, but she has 4 roaches in production. The problem is that 4 roaches alone will probably not suffice. Unfortunately, even rallying in these units in order to kill the roaches off before her own roaches spawn. Don't think that that was a wise idea, since she will need every attacking unit in order to hold this push, if she can hold it at all. But yeah, Sitaska just hitting the right time, or hitting at the right time, realizing after the initial push that Wryza will probably not have that many units out. Does of course now see all of these drones going back and forth, so she should realize that Wryza in the meantime has tried to take a 3rd base of her own. Actually, I like this move quite a lot, since she's realized that she will probably be behind economically. She's just trying to make up for this by taking an early 3rd, but of course Sitaska has taken a 3rd of her own at the same time as well. We never had the chance to glance at it, except for the minimap, because there was always fighting going on and we didn't want to miss the action. Now even Burrow going with the roaches for Wryza. I really like that move. Pretty Wryza-esque. Let's see if she can actually also make good use of that burrow. And now finally it seems as if both players realize there's no way to end the game right here and now. So better retreat and go into high attack. Lair incoming for Sitaska behind that 3rd base, while Wryza has just moved all of her drones over to the 3rd, while the natural base is fairly unsaturated, but will become so in just a matter of minutes, also throwing down some spine crawlers that will help her defend against roach run-bys. And is also just trying to get the good stuff. Not on lair tech yet, not even trying to get it. So there will be a heavy tech advantage for Sitaska now, since her lair is almost done, while Wryza's hasn't even started. And of course that means that Sitaska will be able to get roach speed if she so desires, while Wryza will to have another 50 seconds before she will be able to research it. So if Sitaska actually manages to hit a nice little timing while her own glial reconstitution is done and Wryza's isn't, she might actually be able to easily outmaneuver Wryza's roaches and perhaps Ravagers, which she's already going for. So could make good use of that. Also getting the missile upgrades, but the attack upgrade, but of course that won't help if she actually wants to make use of that timing window, because then she would have to hit in about 50 seconds. Is already moving forward. Don't really know if that's the best move. If you go into upgrades, you usually want to wait a little bit so that they can finish before you actually try to hit at some location. Of course, you can already move out if the update or if the upgrade is only only a few seconds away from finishing, so that you will just barely arrive when the upgrade finishes. But yeah, the upgrade is not done yet, so no real advantage for Sitaska here. Tries to move around, but of course these spine crawlers help out quite a lot here, especially winning some time so that Wryza will be able to move into position here. And while Sitaska has to try to get rid of these spines, the whole army of Wryza can actually shoot at Sitaska's one. Driving it away for now, but now finally the first upgrade kicks in, so Sitaska does have the speed upgrade, while Wryza has not even started hers, I think. I mean, she could do now, but I think she... Okay, no, she's forgot about it, but now she's trying to get it as well as her own upgrade. Oh, actually already going for Missile 2 attack. While her opponent has not done... Okay, already has 1-1, while her opponent is still working on 1-1. So, actually fairly even here. While Sitaska has a little bit of a speed upgrade and the possibility to chase fleeing roaches, Wryza actually has the better upgrades and will drive away Sitaska's army once more. While taking a 4th base of her own. Sitaska knows about it, the Overlord is seeing it. Also one queen that's pretty far out, taking out that Overlord over here, but of course a nice idea trying to get that. And there we have the big engagement, better concave though for Sitaska, only 2 roaches helping out with some builds, but Sitaska mostly avoiding those, moving right into the army. Defender's advantage there for Wryza, but still the better concave for Sitaska. Just focus fires down Ravager after Ravager, losing a lot of army in the process though, but of course still, well, not getting out ahead. Wryza now in the supply lead. Both players just producing roaches en masse, but Wryza will have her upgrades done, or at least her 2-1 upgrade, in just a few seconds. So if she just waits a little bit longer, doesn't really want to lose her army right here at somewhere in the middle of the map where nothing is really to be gained. So she retreats for now, probably waiting for the next 9 roaches to arrive, while Sitaska is just moving out, going for the Overlord hunt, it seems. Or maybe not. Oh yes, she does. So a lot of Overlords just hanging over here, killing the ones of Wryza, actually supply blocking her for now. So Wryza will have to produce a lot of Overlords now, 6 at once, in order to get rid of those. So right now there's 1-1 to 1-1, but Wryza will get the advantage in just a few seconds here. 8 more while we speak. So trying to get her bases more saturated, trying to saturate a 4th base. No 4th base yet for Sitaska. Seems as if she really wants to end that game on 3 bases, and might actually be able to do so. We'll see. I mean, her army is fairly big, but so is Wryza's. Supply is almost even. Sitaska having a little bit more army supply. Well, actually 20 supply more is kind of significant. So let's see. Unfortunately for Wryza, most of her army is standing on that ramp. Sitaska not actually trying to get a better concave here. Just tries to take out that hatchery over here, but trapping most of her units in the process. Ooh, will probably now lose all of her forces with no gain whatsoever, except for a few drones over here. That was a serious mistake by our Spanish Zerg player, I have to say. A really big blunder, trying to get close to this base, trying to focusing it down while her own forces got surrounded by all of Wryza's army. Could have probably taken a very favorable engagement here on that ramp, trying to get a good concave, while Wryza would have had to fight from that spot here with all the roaches firing around her. That would have probably worked out pretty well for Sitaska. But now, of course, after having lost most of her forces, will probably now even move command these 2 roaches into Wryza's army. There's just nothing she can do against the sheer numbers of our American Zerg player. Yeah, Wryza should just easily be able to take this out, even with a worse concave that she does not even have right now. So yeah, that's not a fight that Sitaska can win. Of course she tries to hold her ground. This is her most important mining base. She cannot afford to lose it, but she will. There it goes down, and the rest of her army as well. Supply it down to 74. Wryza more than doubling the supply of Sitaska here. Yeah, this is just a matter of time. Sitaska just trying to hold together what she can, but yeah, with a few queens and a few ravagers, no. Seriously though, no way. Wryza moving out of the corrosive biles, moving in with the rest of the roaches, does not even need the biles of her own ravagers. GG! And Wryza takes the first map. Second map is Sequencer. We have our Spanish Zerg to the top right hand corner in yellow. It's Sitaska. And to the bottom left, our Zerg player from the US. It's Wryza. Leading 1-0 after her opponent became a little bit too daring with her attack, trying to take out a third base that didn't even matter that much to her opponent since she already had a fourth base in place, ending up losing all of her army, not even getting the base, but didn't even matter at that point in time. The quick counter killed her eventually. So no early rush shenanigans by Wryza this time around, and also none by her opponent, both getting a hatchery first on this huge ass map that is a new addition to the ladder pool of this season of StarCraft 2. Both just sending out their overlords, probably one over here in order to get a good view of the hatchery and also partly of the entrance, so that you will always be able to see whether the opponent is moving out or not. Some people even want to have an overlord over here rather, because the army will move down here. So if you actually have an overlord over here and only a few units trickling over this path, then you will not be able to see them with the overlord hanging over here, and then maybe another overlord over here or right here, so that it's on the high ground, but we'll see if the opponent is trying to take a third base or not. So these just and later on you can just still try to fly in order to scout any tech if you desire to do so. It's actually fairly easy if you get this speed for the overlords, which you don't really do that often in ZvZ unless your opponent goes muted, but more common in ZVPs and ZVTs. So, Baneling Nest, defensive Baneling Nest out for Sitaska, not getting the speed, so it seems as if she wants to transition into quick roaches. If I see, oh no, never mind. There is the speed, just a little bit late, but yeah, it seems as if she just wanted to be prepared for any sort of early rush shenanigans by Wryza, so she opted to go for the Baneling Nest first, so that she would have the possibility to morph in Banelings if need be, and then just getting the metabolic boost behind it, because she's pretty right, if you are opening with an economically focused opening, you will be behind with your speed anyways, and if your opponent went for a really quick speed, you usually just cannot catch up, so you want to get the Baneling Nest first, so that you will have the possibility to catch all these speedlings with a good Baneling hit. So, Wryza trying to move forward with a few lings here, but Sitaska has already made more, is now attacking towards her side of the base. Speed will be done for Wryza a little bit earlier, so no way for these lings to catch up with those in time before they arrive at home. Yeah, and here we have the speedlings now for Wryza. They will actually have the speed advantage here, which is fairly nice. We have some Banes morphing over here, and Wryza does not know about those. Most of these Banes get out of position, but yeah, there we have the remaining links actually get caught right out in the open, and now we have a really scary force of 4 Banelings moving into the middle line. No reaction by Wryza whatsoever, not the best detonations there. Seems as if she just detonated all of those by hand, than rather letting them a move command, or a command, attack command, into the drones. Would have probably even killed more with those if she hadn't detonated them by hand. But yeah, still running across the map with more and more links is Sitaska here. Wryza just trying to get the evolution chamber up somewhere. There it is. Don't really know why it's back here. Trying to get a spine crawler up as well. But right now we have the counter attack by Wryza hitting inside the natural base of Sitaska. Sitaska a little bit Oh, running right into these banelings here, but actually kind of good hits because those were only a few links here. But yeah, seems to be a little bit undecisive there. Just ran back with a lot of her lings and banelings in order to deal with the attack over here. So all of her attack forces arrive at Wryza's base just a little bit too late to make good use of all the links that exploded in the attack before that. And now Wryza has actually set up all of her defenses, has a lot of banelings out, even some on top of that ramp, so even if links were to sneak by into the main base, they would get caught by these banelings and detonate in a fairly beautiful green explosion. So it wouldn't really work out. Sitaska now trying to get into roaches, while Wryza is still on the Zergling tech, has not even tried to get a roach warren yet. Might actually want to go into upgraded links en masse and then just eventually surround all of the roaches and killing them off. You can do that, but it's fairly difficult. You just have to hit the right timing windows. Okay, now the remaining forces are moving in. Okay, banelings just explode into nothingness mostly. The roaches remain, and Wryza has to pull back with all of her forces. Only 2 banelings over here, but banelings alone will not really deal that much damage to roaches. Seems as if Sitaska just wants to wait for a few roaches more, like these 3, and then move across the map. This could actually be a little bit more difficult for Wryza to stop. She's already getting more spine crawlers. Crossing fingers that they will finish when the roach attack hits. Roaches do not have speed yet, so it will take them some time in order to cross the map. The spine crawlers might actually be ready. I mean, there's one. These links will help a little bit in order to gain some time, so that the roaches might actually come a little bit too late, and it seems as if it will just barely work out. So now the roaches actually have to be careful. If they move in too far, and the links get a good surround, keeping the roaches close to the spine crawlers, Sitaska could have actually ended up losing all of her roaches, so she does the right call, retreats immediately after seeing how many spine crawlers were there, plus the links coming in from the left-hand side. And yeah, just retreats completely. Seems as if Wryza actually wants to intercept a lot of these roaches here, coming in from behind and sandwiching them though. Okay, actually no, never mind. She just wants to run into the 3rd base, trying to cancel it. That might actually be a good move, since the roaches are still pretty slow, so they will not be able to keep these Zerglings from cancelling the hatchery. Okay, there's a good placed spine crawler. Not that well placed over here, so the links actually get inside the mineral line. It seems as if Wryza just wants to do a little bit more economical damage. Sitaska reacting perfectly here, pulling all of these workers close to the extractor, so that it will be more difficult for the links to actually nibble away at them, and the links have to retreat once more. But in the meantime, Wryza has managed to secure her own a 3rd base, to secure herself a 3rd base. Is now transitioned into roaches and will start producing them on her own. So roaches moving across the map. Nice little run around by Wryza here. Will she be able to actually catch that 3rd base? Or that 4th, as it matters. So, Sitaska trying to break through this debris over here. Wryza already sees what's going on. Has a few roaches up the ramp. Actually not enough in order to stop this force over here, even though she has the high ground. And we all know, since the Star Wars movies, that having the high ground guarantees you victory. Actually, no, it doesn't. So a few roaches get actually hit before they can even see what's upwards that ramp. Wryza just relocating these spine crawlers here, so she should end up holding this fairly easily, with only losing a few roaches in the process. But of course she also has the defender's advantage. Her own roaches will appear at the front a lot more quickly than those of her opponent. So Sitaska once more has to walk back. In the meantime, the Lings actually managed to cancel that base over to the left-hand side. Will now try to cancel the base over to the right-hand side as well, but the roaches should be there in time. Yeah, they should be. I mean, if Wryza had actually gotten this second base as well, that would have been game-ending damage almost. Because Sitaska just does not have enough roaches in order to just counterattack and kill her opponent, and then she would have been so far behind in the economic game, since her opponent already has taken the third base on Sequencer, which only has 1 Westbeam Geyser and only 6 mineral patches instead of 8. So not the best location to actually expand. This space seems, yeah, a little bit better though, but of course this one is far easier to defend. And if you just want to go for pure Roach Ravager for quite some time, it's actually sufficient enough in order to provide you with enough resources in order to get those. So, more Roaches streaming towards Wryza's natural entrance. Again, sending some links across the map will probably end up killing that hatchery, once more. Especially since the roaches were just hit by the anti-timing. Just moving out, Sitaska has to cancel that base over here again. God, that must be so annoying. And Wryza doing the right thing, just retreating once more to make good use of the roaches and of the links another time. Yeah, actually just running around, just playing Ring Around the Rosie with all of these roaches here, since I think, yeah, Sitaska has still forgotten to get the Glial Reconstitution here. They seemed rather slow, I had to say. Now she realizes it herself and puts it up. I think that's just a small little mistake by her, the nerves getting to her. Wryza unfortunately not realizing that the roaches are getting closer to her, was not watching the Winnie map, yet can retreat just in time. But yeah, for quite some time she was having the speed advantage here, and may actually again make good use of it. Just run around, running right into the third base, maybe even killing a few more workers if she wants to. Yeah, she's probably not expecting to be to see the main entrance so vulnerable at that point in time, so she's just actually wasting time in order to get through this debris here until the roaches arrive. Could have just walked by and right into the third base, no actual defense there. Could have just put the Lings on hold position inside that mineral line and just killed off a lot of workers in the process. She doesn't really need those Lings anyways, they're just exposable. It's just for harassment purpose that she has ever made them. But Wryza looking fairly good here, 40 supply in the lead. Her opponent trying to go into a Spire attack, and if she actually manages to get this Spire up and get out a lot of mutas with her own forces, that could actually turn the tide of the battle completely. In the meantime, we have the Hydrolist then incoming for Wryza, and there we have a big engagement. Oh no! Sitaska move commanding, not watching her whole army, was move commanding right into the third base, getting almost half of her army killed before it eventually comes out at the third base. At the same time, we have another Ling run by over to the third base, and where a lot of drones get killed, but very unfortunate there for Sitaska. Big blunder once more, just leaving the army unattended. Probably was watching up here while she, or quite after she had sent the attack command to her main army, or the move command actually to her main army. Don't know why she didn't attack move here. It's a common thing that players do, but yeah, then you issue commands all the time, and then 1 out of 100 issued commands is the move command instead of the attack command. But that just cost her all of her army without even fighting back. So Wryza now has the sheer numbers in order to crush her opponent. Yeah, she does not really have that much anti-air in order to get the mutas, but that doesn't even matter. I mean, these roaches and ravages will just kill all of the base before these few mutas can actually clear up all of these forces. And in the meantime, we have Hydralisks in production back at home. Wryza will probably not produce anything else except Hydras, and the Hydras then should be able to deal with all of these mutas once Sitaska goes for a counterattack. So very, very unfortunate for her. I think she could have easily won that game if she just had not wasted all of her army back at that third base of Wryza. Still, I mean, it's not over, but I mean, she might actually be able to do something with the mutas, but I mean, no, actually she won't. She does not have a base anymore. So never mind. The tech will die as well. GG, and Wryza takes the second map as well. Defender's Landing is our third map in this best of 5 between our yellow Zerg, the Spanish player Sitaska, and to the top right in green we have Wryza, who only needs to win one more game to close it out, while Sitaska has to win 3 in a row in order to take the series. A difficult task, yet not impossible. We've occasionally seen players being down 0-2, ending up winning 3-2. For instance, throughout the last FSL playoffs, semis, where Koshki was down 0-2 against Sunokazri, but then just barely managed to get back into the game and eventually winning it all. So Wryza once more going for the cheesy build, an early rush. Her opponent might actually again be, I don't know, going hatch first on the map with the shortest rush distance of all is ballsy. We have to say that. That's really daring. So I don't know if she will get punished for it or if she will be able to hold it. But yeah, Wryza just doing the expected thing, we actually have to say, on Defender's Landing. I mean, it's called Defender's Landing, but it's actually pretty tough to defend, especially in a ZvZ. So first links are already out. Sitaska might actually not even see the links incoming, since the overlords just move pretty weirdly on that map, but if she was paying attention, she might have just barely seen it. So let's see, spawning pool is halfway done. Will she react to it? Will she prove that she's seen it or not? No bending nest incoming. A queen, it seems, okay, there's speed at least, but it seems as if she's not realized what was going on. I mean, her own speed will be so far behind that of her opponents. Now she knows what's going on, and the links have, when the links arrive at her hatchery, is producing the first 6 links now as well. No more links for the meantime, or in the meantime for Wryza here, trying to get a second base up herself. Has 6 links of her own now at the base. Okay, actually that's not a good move by Sitaska here, sending in the 2 links. Could have actually just taken those down. But yeah, now of course Wryza has to move back. Ooh, Sitaska actually being really scared of that little push there, was expecting Wryza to send in more links and having to defend with drones here, so she actually pulled all of the drones down towards the natural base, maybe even for later purposes, so that she will be able to defend with drones if need be. Of course, defending with drones is never really what you want to do. Wryza just coming in again and again, might actually end up getting this queen over here, which would already be kind of huge. Yeah, and also getting out, well, which is even bigger. Whoa, my god, Wryza now just moving in, getting a good surround on all these links. Now it's only drones against links, no speed done for Sitaska yet. Bailing nest just barely done, but of course no more links in order to morph any banes. And now Sitaska will end up losing more and more for workers here, is already down to 10. GG! And Wryza takes the series with a quick 3-0.